So, with Eammon taking yet another swipe at Phillip, the real reason for why they had a fallout has finally been revealed. Sorry, I just feel like I need to sneeze. Hey guys, it's Maradi. Hopefully you guys are all doing well today. Back at again with another video. If you have not subscribed, guys, click that button. It is daily and consistent content injected. Click that button, guys, and subscribe. And let's get straight into this. So with Eammon, you know, he's been very vocal on the situation with Phillip, and somewhat to an extent where it's not actually doing what it needs to do, in my opinion. I just feel like it can do the opposite effect with what Eammon is doing. I'm not saying his intentions are in the right place, because I believe that they can be, but I think that sometimes when you are too vocal on somebody, it can work against you, unfortunately. But anyways, why have they fallen out? What is the real reason for why he's being more vocal than anybody else? He's genuinely angry, says the source. Lord knows what Ruth is thinking, but Eammon is genuinely angry. Some of Eammon's assertions have been challenged. He claimed the young man stayed over with Phillip on playtime Thursdays and would arrive back at work on a Friday morning in a taxi paid for by ITV. Yet Schofield insists he had only around 5 encounters with the man and that there was no ITV taxi account. Friends of Eammon, meanwhile, tell me they aren't surprised, as the Daily Mail reports, by the interventions, because Eammon's oft-expressed view was that he was the only proper journalist on This Morning, and it was unjust that Schofield was not only above him in the hierarchy, but paid so much more than him. Eammon was said to be on 150k a year for his one-day-a-week presenting role, whilst Holly and Phil were on more than 700 for their 4-day stint. A source tells me Phillip had the red carpet treatment. He and Holly were seen as stars, all TV is a hierarchy, and they were paid far more. Eammon chafed against it. His rider was a block of an inexpensive cheese, but Phillip would get lovely wines brought in from far vinters. Eammon couldn't see how someone like him, a proper journalist, would come beneath the bloke who was in the broom cupboard with Gordon the gopher, Matthew. This angst was only heightened by Eammon's troubled past with the morning editor Martin Frizzle. Indeed, Frizzle said grimly of the relentless coverage of the scandal last week, "I think there's some scores being settled," in reference to Eammon. Many years ago, Frizzle was, just like Eammon, a journalist. In 2000, he joined his wife Fiona Phillips on GMTV as editor of the show. She had been the anchor on GMTV for 3 years by then, alongside Eammon, who had been since 1993. At first, their sofa pairing was harmonious, but Eammon admitted he was the boss of both me and his wife, not a scenario they would recommend. Within weeks of arriving, Frizzle told Eammon he wanted to downgrade him from 5 days to 4. The shake-up ended in a huge clash over Eammon's hours and pay, and Eammon was not getting paid what he felt like he needed to. Eammon told friends later, "I can't tell you how awful Martin Frizzle made life for me. He made my existence a living hell." A year after leaving GMTV, Eammon started presenting This Morning on Friday with wife Ruth, while Fern and Schofield were the Monday to Thursday team. Again, at first, all seemed well, but Fern quit in 2009 due to Phillip's power on the program. Phillip was allowed to choose her successor and therefore chose Holly Willoughby. Frizzle was delighted by Phillip, whom he regarded as the king of the show. Where did all of this leave Eammon? Out in the cold. Phillip was very dismissive of Eammon, quite openly, and so was Martin. We used to call Eammon and Ruth the B team. On a personal level, Phillip and Eammon were never got on. Eammon found him snippy and passive-aggressive and thought he treated the lower-down people on the show very badly. Phillip was impolite. He would ignore you and then be nice to you, and you were meant to be grateful for that. It made Eammon furious. In the run-up to the 2019 general election, tensions came to a head. Frizzle was insistent Eammon should present the Scottish First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon. Eammon was equally insistent that he would do no such thing. He and Frizz then didn't speak after that, and it became a huge situation. A few weeks later, Phillip came out to none other than Eammon and Ruth on the Friday edition of This Morning. Afterwards, Eammon said he only had been told what was happening 20 minutes before. Interesting. Eammon joked to Phillip that discovering he was gay settled the question. "There is this great imponderable in life that's always bothered me. I thought, how come he can sit in a hot tub with Holly and Steph, and Steph doesn't have a problem with it." Phillip, however, fully defended Eammon at the time. However, Eammon says now he feels he was used on that day. Interesting. Within 9 months, he and Ruth were on a warning that Frizzle wanted to shake up the presenting team. The married couple were both surprised and furious. From Phillip and Holly, there was not even a solitary word, call, text or card. Eammon told pals that Holly was blank, aloof and cold. He said that Phillip and Holly were rude, cold and poisonous towards him, which he still cannot understand. Eammon's view is Holly and Phil always thought they were way above the audience and way above Eammon and Ruth, and they were wrong on both counts. Interesting. So, you know, this is the Daily Mail. You know, they wanted to find out. It was a journalist who goes by the name of Alison Boshoff. She asks, you know, why is there such venom from Eammon's side towards Phillip? And now we know why. There seems to be emotional pain rooted in betrayal, where Eammon feels like, you know, Frizzle and Phillip basically kind of ganged up against him and not only reduced his pay, but then kicked him out entirely. Fern obviously left, got replaced by Holly, and this is why there's issues and why he's so venomous and has so much energy for Phillip when it comes to this whole situation, because he feels that he's been betrayed by a friend, looked down upon, and was told to be lesser than, even though he felt like he was more of a journalist. So this is more of the quick overview of the relationship between these two, which has been revealed by Daily Mail today, as to why, yet again, he's continuously making these jabs, or is the loudest to critique Phillip, because he knows him on a personal level and does not have a good relationship with him. To be honest with you, I would believe Eammon, purely because multiple people have come out, and I will do a video on this. Jody, Kerry, multiple have come out to say that I've had bad relationships with Phillip. He's treated me like XYZ and I don't appreciate it. So I can only imagine that Eammon has that pain from that betrayal, and therefore, I wouldn't say the word loathing, strong word, I would say is just very quick to criticize, because he feels like this has been a long time coming given his own experiences with Phillip. Whilst I understand that Eammon is doing this, I would also say that this is a conversation about grooming of young boys, and that if there was more information about what Phillip may or may not have done, hopefully Eammon can come forward, or, continue to tell people to come forward and keep it at that. The back and forth cattiness, I feel like, is just not appropriate. It's childish, it's unnecessary, and it deviates from the more important conversation of how young boys and girls are in these, corporations and could be taken astray just because they've been mesmerized by what could they be and the power that of people around them, and how it happens in several environments, and how that should be the main conversation at hand, rather than these two going back and forth, because it just creates that deflection that we simply don't need. Anyways, let me know your thoughts are when it comes to this, quick 6-7 minute video. Just wanted to get this out there so that you guys know why Eammon has so much for Phillip. Let me know whose side you're on. Are you on team Eammon? Are you team Phillip, or are you team neither when it comes to this? But I just wanted to give you guys this quick overview on why these two have a lot of beef. Let me know your thoughts are. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Subscribe, click that button. I would really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys soon for another review.